first few years of college, I threw every single day.
Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, ultimate fans across the country, and welcome to Surrey, British Columbia's the Newton Athletic Park. We have a Pool C matchup between Helios and Wicked. We'd like to start today with a land acknowledgement. We are located at the Newton Athletic Complex on the traditional territories of the Semiahmoo, the Katzie, the Kwantlen, the Quequitlem, the Kaikite, and the Tsawwassen nations. And we'd like to appreciate the lands that we work, live, and play on. And speaking of playing, Danny Proby in the booth with myself, Kevin Underhill, and we're here with this Pool C matchup between Helios and Wicked East. Danny, you've been here all day. You've seen the action. Tell me what you expect out of this game.
Well, I think this matchup's exciting. It's Wicked East, so this is actually the second team coming from Ottawa, and Ottawa has become a hotbed for juniors ultimate lately. So expect them to play like a really quick throw and go style of ultimate, which I love seeing. And then we have Helios, which is a new team. They only really started having high school ultimate in that part of British Columbia once it became an official BC school sport. So the fact that they're able to get a bid to nationals and also they've already won a game so far at nationals. So I expect big things from this Helios team. It's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, I think one of the noteworthy things about both these programs is that it feels like they've really been like program building over the last 5 years, sort of pre-COVID and through COVID and then into now. And we're starting to see the like longevity of, say, the Wicked program, which has the West team, which is the top team out of Ontario, and the East team, which is also strong here. And having a chance to see like the interior of BC having more ultimate in towns like Merritt, Kamloops, and them being able to put together teams that are able to crack into the top 8 in the country, it's really phenomenal. So, we may not be seeing like the 1 and 2 seed out of the whole country here, but we are seeing programs on the rise, and I expect to see a good ultimate game.
Absolutely. I know Helios specifically, they're going to be tall and fast, so expect a lot of bombs to come up, and I know those are your favorite.
To the house.
The house.
We have Helios in dark going right to left on your screen right now, and Wicked East with the pull to kick things off here in this Pool C matchup between the 2 and the 3 seeds. Right away, it seems Helios playing against a person-against-person matchup here. Looks like it's going to be match defense here to start for Wicked. We have Kylie Veller in the middle here. Looks upfield right away. Upfield throw incomplete. That's number 13, Marisol DeVries with the D. Right away, Wicked East generates a turnover, has a chance to march it up here. Disc in the middle here. East advancing. Looks like there's a foul called there.
That's Cheer with the foul call. And if you've heard that name before, it is no surprise. That is a family full of pedigree. I've actually been able to work with Cheer's older sister, Brooklyn, and it's amazing to see there's still more Cheer kids in this family. So it looks like it's going to be a foul. Speaking with the observer right now, I'm not sure if it's going to be contested or uncontested. It looks like it was uncontested, so the stall is coming in at 1.
Cheer has the disc now, looking over the break side. Stall count getting high. Gets a little upfield reset, and the soft huck looks just short there. Targeting number 92, Dalia Loretti on the strike. Just came up short. Denny, the wind is a factor here. It's not totally howling, but it is a factor for both directions. And I think we're going to have to see the teams sorted out in the first couple points. Big huck right away from Helios. Looking like it's going to fall into the hands of number 73, Kaylee McDermott. McDermott looking upfield. Fires to the end zone. Completed for the goal. Alyssa Robinson cashes in for Helios. And the squad out of Kamloops and Merritt, British Columbia, gets on the board first. It's 1-0. Helios leads. And Danny, just like you predicted, it's 2 throws, right? A pickup on the goal line and a massive huck, and then a completed out for the goal to Robinson.
I feel like Sinclair heard you say that the wind is kind of a factor, sets up and bombs a perfect flick huck down the field to a wide open receiver. So yes, there is wind. It does get a bit swirly, but if you're a talented thrower, wind doesn't mean anything. So Sinclair kind of opening up that play. And then we had McDermott finishing it with Robinson for the score.
Yeah, and you did see that the Helios offense, they set up with that horizontal right off the very first set. They ran into trouble, a little high stall count getting a turn, but when they got the disc back on their goal line, they had a nice shallow horizontal with tons of deep space available, Danny. And that's one of those things that if you're able to maintain that spacing, you can actually attack the deep space. And especially with the sort of soft downwind going that way, yeah, it really was Sinclair just finding her target in McDermott and tons of space out there and a perfect throw.
Now, if you are watching this stream, obviously if you're listening to us only, that's great too. But if you're watching, you can see the size difference between these two teams. So I would expect Helios to continue to put up those throws, and Wicked East is going to have an answer. But first, we have Wicked East going to be seeing their offensive line for the first time.
East with the disc and an immediate block there. That's Kylie Lopez with the block, the run-through block on the sideline. Well read and got an early jump there. Helios to pick up on the sideline. Looks like there's a little interference with the disc graph sign. Disc tapped in on the far side. An immediate deep strike. Kopes misreads it, gets onto the disc, and it sails over. And the East offense gets to take over again. Grace Janvu with the disc has an opportunity to bring it up. Vertical stack here for Wicked. An immediate strike. Disc out here to the break side. Nice hands. All the way around. And a miss hit there. And Helios takes over the short field. Sasha Plaxton with the disc here. Plaxton looking upfield. Has an opportunity. Looks like there's a pick called. Secured the grab. It's not going to stand. This is going to come back on a pick here. Danny, the vertical end zone by Helios, a little messy. It had cuts coming from all over the place. That's what results in the pick here.
We get a little excited sometimes when we get near the end zone. One thing I do like is that right after the turn, Helios is ready to pick up the pace. They're trying to capitalize on that transition from offense to defense of Wicked, and they're getting the disc moving right away.
Helios queuing in on Kylie Kopes. She's the one that got the block. She's also obviously the initiator on the turnover.
She's definitely known for her speed and her ability in the air, so it is unsurprising to me that she's often going to be their first look.
The disc is going to come back in on a pick call. Plaxton with the disc. Plaxton surveys, against this backhand force. Has a target in the middle. That's Kopes to the end zone. Not quite in. It's number 21, Charlie Tannehill. Tannehill, a little break around, and Helios cashes in on the first break of the game.
I'm very impressed with that offensive composure near the end zone. They had the disc on that sideline, on the close sideline to the camera, with a little bit of, there's a call, there's like a lot of traffic in that space, a little dump swing. That end zone was executed perfectly. If I'm their coach right now, I'm feeling like all of those days that we did double score and worked on end zone have paid off.
Really paying off here. You can see when there is that pressure that it is Kylie Kopes that takes over. She came into the backfield, got the nice swing all the way out to Tannehill, who got the flip for the win, for the score. And I think that's that side-to-side offense that if you can make that happen in the end zone, Danny, a lot of coaches preach, isolating the top section of the end zone, making sure they move it laterally. And, another good example by good offense by Helios there, working the disc laterally and then getting the front cone goal.
I didn't see enough of that in the last game that I was just commentating. I wished that teams did a bit more dump swing and flipping and reversing the field, because it just makes it so much easier. If you can actually keep the defense on their toes and having to continually switch their positioning, you're going to have open players.
So now we have Helios leading 2-0. This is a Pool C matchup. Danny, the implications behind this matchup are pretty significant. The top two out of Pool C get a chance to cross over and play up into the quarterfinals. So this is being the 2 and the 3 seed in this pool, with the 1 seed being Titan out of Quebec. This, the 2 and 3, this is a matchup that has huge implications for the rest of the tournament.
Absolutely.
All right, now we get another opportunity to see this Wicked East offense. Disc here, about halfway through the field, running it up. It's number 46, Julia Kozarski. Kozarski looking upfield against a forehand force. Not a lot of opportunity downfield. Good tight coverage by Helios. Drops a forehand. Looked like a good spot, just an untimely drop there. That's Ember Fleming, who couldn't quite reel it in at the front of the end zone.
That was a great throw into space, and I like that cut as well.
Helios taking over on their front corner. Disc into the upfield. Claire Veller with it. Veller flips into the backfield. Helios trying to march it up. Oh, an absolute dart across the field. Connection. That's number 21, Charlie Tannehill again. Disc
23.
tight to the sideline. Looking to center it. Not a lot of options. Good coverage by East here. Flips into the backfield. That's Hannah Bond. Back to the middle. Jackson Palmer with the disc in the center. Palmer looking upfield. Nice snappy upfield throw, but great defensive play there. Maricel DeVries that's Julia Kozarski with the block in the midfield there. East with another chance to work it up. Centering pass here. Out to the far side. Great touch on that one. Just again, untimely.
I absolutely love that throw. It has so much calculation on putting just the right amount of spin to put that into space.
Maggie Sinclair here to pick up for Helios. Looking upfield. Upline cut available. Can't take it. Instead goes for a big under right up the middle. Perfect shot there. Lexi Veller with the disc. Veller going upfield. Maggie Sinclair now on the goal line to the corner. Oh, what a great spot that is. Maggie Sinclair going every other that point and then dropping a little fading dime to the front cone. Great finish for Helios, and they are off to a dream start here in this matchup. 3-0 Helios leads.
Yeah, if I'm the Helios coach, I'm feeling pretty good right now. They already have a win on the day to make this potentially 2, but I think a lot of games in juniors start like this, or maybe one team is maybe feeling a bit intimidated and they start out a little bit flat, but it's usually at this point in the game where you start to see the confidence. Everyone relax. They have a little bit more fun. They start connecting on some shots, and then usually the gap is able to be closed. So let's see if Wicked East can be making any of these adjustments. Are you surprised they didn't take a timeout call here? It's very typical.
It is. I'm split on the early timeout. Obviously, they need to get their ducks in a row here on offense, but like to your point, once you see one go in, you kind of start to loosen up. And I think at this point, East needs one of them to drop, right? They need one of their big players to make a big play and get that disc in the goal, right? We've seen Julia Kozarski already with a block and moving the disc well. At the end of the day, we really need to see this Wicked East team put one in and just get their feet kind of firmly into this game, right? And a timeout sometimes can manage those nerves, but sometimes you just need to let your players go out and play and get it done.
Yeah, for me personally, I feel I don't like the timeout call there. I mean, I understand, and I think it does work for people, but for me, it doesn't work.
You see they immediately huck it deep. No target in sight. Looks like there's a little bit of miscommunication at the back of the stack there, and just an immediate huck by Peyton Dickey, but no receiver in sight. Now we have Dalio Loretti on the mark here. Good cutting in the upfield space. Great defense. Alexa Brinchier playing good D. Now it's an upfield shot. Grace McDonald. Grace McDonald rips a forehand huck. Connects with her favorite target, Kylie Kopes. Kopes surveying. Style count creeping up. Wants McDonald in the backfield. Grace McDonald now. Size and speed for McDonald and a nice spot again. Oh, and a great effort on the second effort by Megan Voigt, but she just couldn't keep it in her hands. And this Wicked East offense gets another chance. Surveying the upfield. Good deep. That's a nice shot there. Peyton Dickey with the deep shot. That one's got legs and eyes. Great effort there.
Oh, I love that throw.
Mariev Yassine on the receiving end just couldn't quite pull it in. It's a good spot there by Dickey, though, showing that she's not afraid to huck deep. Eastern's another turnover at midfield here. See if Dickey can fast break here. Oh, and a hand block there. Kylie Kopes. Excuse me, Kylie McDermott. Now the disc upfield. This is Kopes, and she airs it out. That's on a spot there for number 7, Elisa Robinson, her second deep cut of the game. Oh, my. Danny, this is one of those situations where this Helios team has been able to fast break to the goal line multiple times, but they just can't close it off.
And Wicked just looking to punt it back, which sometimes you feel like if you have it on your goal line, it's pretty dangerous, and you want to force the other team to have more field to work with. And a run-through block, it was effective.
Apparently, both times they've hucked it deep, they're able to generate a turn at half field. East just has to get their stuff together and actually work it up for a goal here. Good spot out to the flare, Evelyn Hickey. Dalio ready now, aggressively faking, trying to get an upfield throw. Flips it into the backfield. Dickey now, looking upfield, and another block by Grace McDonald. She has been all over the field so far for Helios. Great closing speed in the lanes. McDonald looking upfield, finds Kopes. Kopes reels it in. Has a target going deep, Talia Halpern. Oh, Halpern can't bring it in there. Just a little off. Dickey now upfield. Nice, good dump swing continue.
That was great offense by Wicked East. I love that dump swing all the way to that side. It's showing some really strong fundamentals.
Ray Bassett to pick it up at the center line on the sideline. Quick move upfield. That's Halpern. Now it's Kopes with the disc. Kopes has a target deep, and she fires, and that one will connect. Megan Voigt making up for the drop she had on the front cone there, Danny, by cashing in for the goal. Helios leads 4-start, and I'm predicting a timeout coming up, but who knows? It seems like it does look like they're going to take a timeout. And honestly, after a 4-0 deficit to start the game, it makes sense.
I'm really loving these throws from Helios, these expansive throws into space and just letting their tall receivers run to it. They're able to get both hands on it for the most part. Obviously, we've had maybe some uncharacteristic drops by some of our star players on the field, but it also is a bit nerve-wracking to be playing on a showcase field while being live streamed, maybe for most of these athletes for the first time. So it does play a part. There are some nerves, maybe some uncharacteristic drops, but I think that we've already seen a lot of displays of athleticism and skill. I like close games. So I'm not biased and I don't have a particular team that I want to win, but I am rooting for Wicked to punch a couple in early here.
Yeah, and to Helios's credit, they've played fabulous defense through the middle of the field, right? This Wicked team has shown that they have pace and that they can huck it and that they've got good lateral motion. But at the end of the day, when they're trying to inject unders upfield and get some momentum, that's when Helios has been able to create the blocking opportunities. And I mean, Wicked just they have to find a different avenue for success here, right? They tried hucking it more on that last point to mediocre success, right? They haven't been able to inject it upfield. What they have been able to do is move the disc laterally, but they need to get some upfield yards. So, yeah, I mean, dream start for the team out of the interior of BC. I think they're showing why they feel like they're a top 8 team. They were not seeded inside the top 8 for this tournament, but they did come 6th last season at CUC. So this is a team that I think is motivated to get into that top 8 and get a quarterfinal position.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think when I did my picks, I felt like that they were underseeded, but it's not anything that a tournament director can fix. They have to go by regional results, and there are just so many strong teams in BC. Our BC regionals here were kind of a bloodbath. We ended up seeing Eclipse taking the final spot and almost being knocked out from being able to have any kind of top 9 dreams. They ended up switching spots with somebody else, but still, the fact that like the 7th place team out of BC is Eclipse, that just kind of shows you the depth of programs that we're looking at.
All right, and we're back on here. Helios to pull. That's Sasha Plaxton with the disc in her hand, set to pull up 4-0. If you're just joining us, Helios is winning 4-0 over Wicked East. Helios from the interior of BC, East from Ottawa, Ontario. And right now it's a one-sided affair, and East is going to try to do something about that right here on this offensive possession.
We're seeing some new faces here for the Wicked team, so we're going to get a look at them on both offense and defense now.
Helios generates an early turn right away. They have it at their own brick mark. Looking upfield, and a turn right back. Wicked will take control at just over half here. Little upline cut. Evelyn Hickey with the disc over the top, and a great defensive pressure in the handler set there. That's number 21, Charlie Tannehill. She's been all over the field, and she gets another nice block. There's an under. Helios threatening. Flips it again. Aggressive cutting here by Helios, just carving up the underspace. Emma Forsyth with the disc now. Looks upfield, hits Halperin. Halperin just couldn't quite get that around forehand off. Seems like she almost wanted to hold up, but instead just fired it into the turf.
We've all been there before.
Oh, there's a nice undercut. Oh, well put out into space here. Ryan Moffat with the disc now. Ryan Moffat trying to look upfield. Instead goes into the backfield. Point blocked by Forsyth. Good hands and good read there. This is Maya Zakal with the disc. Zakal just sends it over to space. Is it going to hang long enough? Oh my gosh, a fabulous grab there. Number 16, Emma Forsyth, getting the late read on the disc, but closing the distance just in time. And Helios surging in this first half, 5-0 they lead.
I absolutely love, first of all, the bid. The fact that player Forsyth was just so determined to keep that disc alive. But I also love that throw. We had the thrower not seeing what they were liking and just putting a disc out into space and just trusting that the receiver could go get it. I feel like this Helios team has a lot of chemistry. Most of them come from 2 different schools, and I think that that's really showing right now.
So, Danny, a little more about this Helios roster. I'm excited to kind of like see the development of competitive ultimate in the interior of BC. Back when I played juniors and I played at CUC juniors, there was no Kelowna, Kamloops, Merritt ultimate happening. But now you see, community champions and coaches of these programs starting to actually build some momentum in those regions, right? And I think that's what it really takes. When we talk about like smaller communities, obviously, Merritt's a town of only 7,000-8,000 people, right? I mean, Kamloops isn't small by any means, but it's around 100,000 people. And these are, communities that are well smaller than Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, the major hubs of ultimate, right? So seeing this sort of success come out of smaller towns, combining forces, making this club team. We were speaking a little bit with Ben Laidlaw before the game. He's the coach of this Helios team, along with Dave Stelk, Petra Steven, Corinne Giorgetti. These are people who are dedicating time, money, resources, energy to creating a club and like school ultimate environment for these kids to play in. And right now, I feel like we're seeing the momentum that's come out of the last 5 years of development, right? And seeing like community sport develop at the smaller town level, Danny, it really does come from these community champions, these people who are willing to put the time in and coach, because kids want to play. Kids want to play whatever it be, right? Whether that be ultimate, wrestling, judo, hockey, whatever it winds up being, but you need the people in place to be able to like create that momentum and support the kids' growth, right? And then in a perfect world, these kids graduate, they come back to help and coach, right? And that's how you develop those programs.
Absolutely. I've seen these coaches in particular for this Helios team. They'll come to BC, they'll drive their athletes here for prospect camps, they'll drive their athletes here for Team Canada tryouts, trying to give them as big and a robust an experience as possible. And these coaches specifically just put in so much work. I want to echo it 100%. They absolutely adore their athletes, and they're doing it in a smart way. These kids from Helios, or these athletes from Helios, haven't been playing that long, but they kind of plucked them from volleyball, from basketball, and those might be two of my favorite cross sports for ultimate. You can kind of see the basketball boxing out and the volleyball two-hand approach jumps being shown on display here in this game.
And that's not to take anything away from the big market cities, but there is just a deeper player pool, right? And I think this Wicked program is the second team out of Ottawa. And so they've got a lot of developmental players that will, ideally, like in the next season, step up and play for Wicked West, which is, one of the strongest teams in the country. So we get back to the action here. And a backfield turnover. Honestly, Danny, everything kind of going the wrong way for Wicked East right now. Helios has a chance to take over here right at the goal line with a chance to go up 6-0. Maggie Sinclair to pick up here for Helios. Disciplined stack here. Looking upfield and connects for the goal. That is number 72, Kylie Kopis. She's been all over the field today on the offensive and defensive side. And it's a nightmare start for Wicked East. They just have not been able to get on the same page right from the get-go this game. They trail 6-0 here in the first half. And this Helios team, to their credit, they're capitalizing, right? At the end of the day, we always talk about you have to go out and actually do it, right? The team may not be delivering on the other side, but if you're not out there getting it done, like the other team will. So Helios, kudos to them. They're punching in their chances, and they take a commanding 6-0 lead in this game.
Yeah, it seems like every time there's a turnover, Helios is rushing to get the disc moving. They want to use their speed and athleticism right away. And another thing that I'm noticing about their offense is it's really clear who's cutting. And you don't often find that in juniors. A lot of times, like we say it's like Timbits hockey or whatever, where everybody's kind of swirling around. Everybody wants to score. Everybody wants to help. It comes from a great place. But when you watch Helios's offense, it's clear. It's this person. And then it's this person. Everybody else is being a good teammate and giving their teammates room to cook.
Balanced scoring here from this Helios team. They have been rolling through some of the major players in this team. Kylie Kopis, Grace McDonald, Maggie Sinclair. You see Brennan Shoden out there as well. This is Jackson Palmer with the pull. But they really have been spreading the disc around, and a lot of their sort of stronger athletes are tearing up the upfield, and their more skilled players are in the backfield distributing. Let's see if East can get some positive momentum here as they come out against a Helios zone. Hickey with the disc, good fakes to the middle. Incredible reactions there, getting that one through there. Now it's Evelyn Hickey with the disc, looking to the backfield. Disc in the middle now. Now out to the sideline. Dalia Loretti. Faced with the zone. Looking over the top. For a little pop. Good completion here to the close side. East trying to fight through this zone. Little flip there. That's Cheer with the disc now. Cheer looking upfield against a big zone. Plays to the backfield and just couldn't quite connect there. Peyton Dickey couldn't hang on to it tight to the sideline. And Danny, you see like a zone cup with big, tall players, and it's just causing mayhem for these smaller Wicked East throwers. It's causing a lot of
issues. I think the Wicked handlers are doing a good job of trying to use their fakes, but it's tough out there.
Palmer floats into the middle, connects there. Maggie Sinclair hucks to the end zone. Good defense, but second effort grab there. Number 56, Hallie Hildebrand, right on the goal line here, flips it to the middle and cashes in for the goal. Helios continues to deliver fast break on the turn. And it's the like athleticism and the size that seems to be the real big difference maker here.
And just like the touch, I'm actually like legitimately impressed with the touch on these throws. You see them taking an extra second, and juniors, like, you're used to people rushing, being excited, throwing zippy throws. It's clear that this coaching staff has been working on that with this team. Those throws into space are just delightful. I do want to acknowledge Evelyn Hickey on the Wicked East team, because I'm feeling like she's kind of in a tough spot trying to handle against this big zone, and she's keeping a lot of composure. She's making a lot of really nice pop passes. We saw that nice flick to go through that cup. That's not a throw that I would take. You got to be very brave to take that shot, and it worked out. I'm just very, very impressed with their play so far.
Yeah, and to be fair, this Wicked team, in comparison to Helios, is undersized. And Evelyn Hickey, smaller player, skill player, having a chance to work her fakes there and get to the zone. You always want to see when a team comes down with a zone to try to work that with your legs, right? It's not always going to happen with the like skill throws over the top or cutting break throws. If you can pound in there and get some central movement with the handling group, then you have a chance to actually break through. They had some good throwing there and a few opportunities, but they never converted it into an actual upfield momentum play.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard when you rely really heavily on a certain few players on your team, especially in a zone, because if you do want to clear, they kind of want you to come back right away.
East working the disc up here. Grace Janvo with it. Janvo looking out to the sideline. Instead, re-looks at the middle. Good bail cut there. Julia Kozarski with the disc. Drops an absolute dot. Ryan Moffitt. East has a little bit of momentum here. An upfield throw. Oh, and taken away there nicely by Grace McDonald. Again, she's drawing the Kozarski matchup there, and just it looked like Moffitt stared into that a little bit too long, and McDonald had the read. Another huck deep. This one's just a little bit too far. Megan Voigt on the receiving end there. McDonald put it a little bit too far.
I do like that look. Open receiver, giving yourself some real estate to work with.
Moffitt to pick up for East now. Generating a little speed. That's Kozarski upfield. Avery Medina cleans that one up. They look upfield now. And puts it to space. Track down there. Annika Johnson on the receiving end there, looking upfield. Trying to keep the disc alive. Resets it. Kozarski looking around field. Hangs one out to space. Just a little bit too low there. It dropped in that wind and just couldn't quite connect. East is generating better upfield motion here. They just got to convert when they get to the goal line. Helios picks up here. Disc in the hands of Jalen Fordart. Talia Halperin in the middle now. Halperin had a really nice space stack, but nothing doing as Kozarski plays good defense in the lanes. Disc out to this side. Good spot there. Megan Voigt. Megan Voigt flares one out, and it's just going to drift out of bounds.
Just let go of that one just a little too early. I do love the cuts coming here from this Helios side.
Janvo to walk it up and tap it in. Janvo looking upfield. Doesn't like it. Instead, opts for a huck. Hangs one over the top. That's a good spot there. Great hands on the reception. And into the end zone for Kozarski. Blocked by McDonald. Avery Medema with a chance to make a play on the second effort, but just couldn't quite get there. And McDonald with another fabulous block. She can kind of do it on the offensive and defensive side. McDonald can.
It kind of looked like there was like a little bit of a trip up, or someone kind of go, because that was a really nice looking throw.
Mid-range huck by McDonald, and it's going to land in the hands of Halperin. Halperin looking for Robinson and just puts a little too much gas on that one. That's the thing about this huck-heavy offense is these throws do have to be precise or they're going to be low percentage.
Absolutely. Again, open receivers, it's the right choice. Just got to hone in on the execution a little bit.
Janvo distributes into upfield. Vivian Harvey to the middle. Looking upfield now. Another nice spot there. That's Annika Johnson. Had a few receptions on this point. Looking good. Janvo in the bail spot instead. Opts for Harvey. Harvey to the middle. Kozarski with it now. Kozarski looking upfield. Good hands there by Janvo. Janvo looking upfield. Perfect spot there. That's number 46, Julia Kozarski. Hucks it up, has a target, just can't quite connect. Danny, it's been the story of the day for this Wicked East team. They've generated some momentum, got to the goal line, but just have not been able to capitalize.
Their flow though is night and day different from the beginning of the game. Their offense is right there. They just need to get a little bit more to finish it out.
Good defense there by number 4, Ryan Moffat, as she plays D against Talia Halpern in the lane. Undersized, but not mattering. Here's an upfield throw. Good spot there. Megan Voigt now looking upfield. And again, Moffat with good defense, and this time she closes it out. Ryan Moffat with great defensive pressure in the entire point there, and finally capitalizing. Disc in the middle now in the hands of Kozarski. Kozarski looking for an around, hangs it up a bit. Avery Madeirman in the chance, and it's just not quite there. And again, we're able to move. East is able to move the disc a few times, but not able to get it right into the goal for the finisher. Upfield momentum here. Talia Halpern in the middle. Halpern out to the far side. That's Voigt. Voigt looking for a dish through the middle here. Helios advancing the disc up the field. Kylie McDermott with the disc here. Into the backfield, Grace McDonald. Looking for an isolated cut. Tired cutting in the lanes here for Helios. This is a long point and a timeout called by Grace McDonald. And a smart timeout at that. They had no upfield momentum, no movement, and they finally made the right call. Grace McDonald called a timeout, probably around the middle of the stall count.
It kind of felt like that was going on for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if it's coming in on like 6 or 7 even.
So, Danny, you mentioned that East's offensive flow has improved in this point, and I sound like a broken record, but it just feels like this team needs to see one go in the goal. And once that happens, it feels like they'll be able to open up the floodgates a little bit and use this offensive momentum that they're developing. But they get close to the goal, and it's just been untimely error after untimely error.
Yeah, we're struggling a little bit. I know when the disc does go up, especially kind of on the same side where the camera is, you are looking directly into the sun. So a lot of these throws, if they are kind of having a little bit of a bladey edge and the receiver does look up at the last second, it can be hard to keep your hands on the disc because we're just seeing quite a few kind of like pancake drops or like drops just falling through the fingers. And again, we're not biased, but here in the booth, we're wanting it for them.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see this East team crack the code and get into the goal. That being said, it's a 6-0 lead for Helios right now. If you're just tuning in, we're at the Newton Athletic Park in Surrey, BC, and it's 7-0, excuse me. Helios leads, has a chance to take half here. It's been a one-sided game, and the better team right now is in the lead, no doubt. Led by Grace McDonald, who's about to pick up this disc right now. She's got size, speed, and skill, and yeah, she's an all-around player for this Helios squad.
Okay, Wicked coming out in a zone look, which I think is fun and a good choice. Try to slow down the big cuts of Helios.
Looks like it's coming in at 6. McDonald has an opportunity to just get the disc upfield, and it's blocked right away. Great hands there. That's number 14, Annika Johnson. And a quick turnover right away. Excuse me, that was 12, Vivian Harvey with the block. And then the subsequent turnover. And the disc will be back in the hands of Grace McDonald. We'll call this coffin corner in the business. Right on the upwind front of your own end zone. It looks like a 2-person sort of zone look, and McDonald's going to hang it up over. Tons of space there in time. Great reception there. Talia Halpern had all kinds of space, but a turnover follows as Kozarski with the block. Kozarski looking upfield, connects with Harvey. Harvey, a little floaty, but Kozarski comes down with it with the read. She's got an option upfield, and again, spikes a forehand into the front cone. Wicked East on the doorstep here. Wiping their feet, trying to get in, and they will. Connection for the goal. Wicked East gets their first goal of the game in the upwind end zone, and we'll call that one a well-earned hold.
Very well earned.
East.
And it's not like Helios didn't have their star players on. They had Grace McDonald with 3 blocks on that point, doing the most. So they were able to actually punch in a hold against a very, very strong defensive line from Helios. So score, we now have 7-1.
And Danny, we talked earlier about this Helios program and the program building that's been happening out in the Kamloops Merritt area. In Ottawa, you know, you've seen the growth of the Wicked program over the course of the last 5 years, even dating back to pre-COVID, right? This is the number 2 team out of Ottawa, but they, you know, this program has been building, right? And coaches like Hallie Gernon, Cheryl Wattising, Evan Waterman, Justine Price, you know, these are people who have dedicated years of effort into this program to develop it. And, you know, although Wicked East is the number 2 team, I think we're seeing the benefits of this long-term program. And Wicked West, the top team out of Ottawa, is the number 1 team out of Ottawa for the last 5 years. So they've usurped the Toronto program. And it really is, again, it's about these community champions giving back, having some strategy around their juniors programs and developing over 5-6 years, and not just sort of being satisfied, I suppose, with like one flash in the pan year where you have a bunch of graduating seniors that play really well and then it's not sustainable, right? This Wicked East team is a definition of what stability looks like, right? You've got a good, solid squad that's ranked inside the top 12, and they're essentially feeding the top team, who is, you know, a favorite at this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Helios' offensive unit now gets a chance to come out here, breaking through a Wicked East zone. Disc on the far side now. This is number 21, Chloe Tannehill with it. And the disc is ruled out of bounds. Couldn't quite toe the line there. Helios gives the disc back here. Wicked East taps it in, looks upfield. And a disc fired towards the middle, received nicely right in front of the goal here. Maricel DeVries. DeVries looking upfield, has a spot, connects, and then finishes. And again, just dropping in the end zone seems to be what's kind of plaguing Wicked East right now, as they had good lateral motion to get it up to the goal line, but couldn't cash in there.
That was excellent offense by Wicked East. I loved that first shot through. Really opened everything up.
Helios snapping it around the zone here. Quick disc movement. Disc's in the middle of the field now in the hands of Kylie McDermott. McDermott goes into the backfield. That's Maya Zakal. Couldn't quite connect there in the backfield. And right away they're going to go to the goal, but it's blocked and turned over again. Now it's Plaxton. Sasha Plaxton with the disc. Looks into the backfield. Zakal snaps it around. Good lateral motion. Upfield. Right away. Connecting multiple passes together. And again, just having a tough time finding that far sideline. It could just be that the sideline's like pushed off the back of the fence, and it's just not quite, you know, connected with the like soccer field lines that we're connected here with. But 2 times now, this Helios offense,
it can be confusing. I've definitely had that before, where there's like a phantom line where you think it's in and it's out.
Now they're going to hang one up. It's Zakal defensively in the area. Good offensive read, and that's a goal. Wicked East cashes 2 in a row. Great read there by the offender, boxing out Maya Zakal in the back of the end zone and making the grab. East now with back-to-back goals, and they're not going down without a fight. Helios leads 7-2.
That was an incredible box out, because I think that like your defender is taller than you, and to be able to turn to that outside and keep your defender on your back, and to be able to seal that out to take that in is awesome.
East showing a little bit of fight here, Danny. After going down 7-0, they've cashed in on the last 2. Have an opportunity here to go break. If you can get this kind of, you know, we're going to call it upwind break here, then they do have the wind advantage for a chance to get another one. If you're in the Helios' shoes, you don't want this to go on any longer than it has to in this situation. They're looking to cash in on this downwind offensive point and get into half and get some shade.
Yeah, they call it stopping the bleeding. So you got a little bit of a cut now, and you need to put a Band-Aid on it. You got to prevent it from getting worse than it is. So I know we were talking about Wicked's kind of development before the last point, and I want to say, to further your point, the Wicked West program has been pumping out some players into Team Canada, and I think that before that weren't that many players coming from Ottawa making U20 and U24, but the last U20 cycle, I believe there was like 5 or 6 even from Ottawa, and this U24 cycle as well. So they're doing great things. They're giving these kids amazing opportunities to play, and it all starts with feeder programs like Wicked East.
Helios now, offensive point here to try to take half. Looking upfield through a zone, cuts an underthrow, but it's taken away, and immediately East has a chance to get back on the board here. Undercut, nice hands there. Disc in the middle of the field now. A lot of action around the disc. Disc upfield. Great effort there. Just couldn't quite connect. Dahlia already got up big, but couldn't get her hand all the way around the disc there. Nice spot through the zone. Disc now on the far side. Read well. And they're going to hang it up. Does it have just a little too much pace on that one? Not enough touch. Number 72, Kylie Kopes with the huck there. Had it in her mind. She's trying to connect with Lexi Veller, but just had too much pace. Now it's East with another chance. Disc on the far side. Catherine Bernard with the disc. Well secured by Loretti. And just couldn't quite connect. Again, it's those kind of downwind dump throws to the middle that are just so hard to put touch on. Disc floating. Oh, it's deflected. Kopes, and a little 1-2-3 play there. Lexi Veller deflected to Kopes' hands, and then Veller, good reactions just to get open and get the goal. Helios takes half 8-3 here against Wicked East. Danny, what did you see from this Helios offense that made them so powerful in the first half?
I think in general, there's been very few shots that I've seen from Helios that have made me be like, that wasn't a great choice. I think most of their turns have come from just a bit of execution errors, but in general, the throws are into space. They're making big, long cuts. They're going to the disc super strong on both sides of the disc. They're having a lot of success, but I do love to see this fight coming from Wicked East right now.
No doubt. And if you're just joining us, we're going to take a small break. This is halftime. Helios leads 8-2 over Wicked East in this Pool C matchup. This is, for all intents and purposes, a battle for getting up into the top 8. And right now it's been all Helios in this first half. We're going to take a quick break and be back on the air in a couple of minutes with the second half. All right, welcome back to the Newton Athletic Park in Surrey, BC for the Canadian Ultimate Championships. We are here in a Pool C junior women's matchup between Helios out of Kamloops and Merritt and Wicked East out of Ontario, Ottawa, Ontario. And right now, Danny, it's been all Helios in the first half. What do you think you need to see out of Wicked East to claw their way back into this game and have a fighting chance?
I didn't mind that zone look. It did slow down Helios quite a bit. And in general, I think the Wicked East offense is starting to figure itself out. They are managing to string a series of passes together. So they just need to be a little bit more relaxed, step out a bit more on their throws, and they'll be good to go.
You see Helios starting on defense in the dark jerseys, pulling to Wicked East, who are in the white jerseys going right to left on your screen. Chance to get on the offense right off the bat, cash one in, close this deficit a little bit. The pull is up, turns over quickly, and it's going to be a short field immediately for Wicked East. Wicked East picking up here. Grace Janvo with it. Janvo immediately straight to the end zone. Defended smartly there by Maya Zakal.
Big volleyball spike. Pretty sure she plays volleyball.
And then immediately turns it back. Back-to-back turns down this close sideline. Disc in the middle now. Ryan Moffitt. And just not connecting there with Janvo. Helios gets that field advantage right back. Ray Bassett with the disc now. Zone just like you predicted for this Wicked East team. Bassett looking upfield. No real options. Oh, cuts one right through the middle. Good spot there. That's number 18, Brennan Shoden. Shoden surveying. Right back to Bassett. Bassett looking to the middle of the field. Zakal. Maya Zakal. Good movement to get through the zone, but couldn't quite connect there with Alyssa Robinson. Now Wicked collects. Wicked staring downfield. Instead hits Grace Janvo. Janvo immediately upfield to Harvey. Vivian Harvey with the disc. Hangs one over the top. And again, it's Zakal at the back of that. Always playing center field a little bit. And she's got size. And she's able to get up and get the block again. Helios working the disc laterally. Robinson on the far side. Back into the middle. Dump swing action, working it around. Zakal just can't quite bring it in there. And again, just to throw a little bit behind. And East now has a chance. Tori Dickey with the disc. Tori Dickey looking to the backfield. Resets the disc to Janvo. Janvo. Around this side, it's Ryan Moffitt. Up to Dickey. A little more controlled offense here. Dickey looking upfield. Has an option. Instead, goes to Janvo, who can't quite find it. That's one of those ones where her eyes weren't fully on her target, Danny. If she even just had a touch more patient, probably could have snapped that in.
Now, we've seen almost the entire point be played in this one quarter right here of this field. I really would love to see Helios get it all the way across and then never mind.
And instantly, just as you were saying that, it's Vivian Harvey who blocks it as Zakal tried to go right up the sideline. And again, we'll see if they try to go right down or if they can get that disc into the middle here. Looks like they're going to push it. It's completed off the back. Tori Dickey, what a nice grab and a good heads-up awareness as she peeled that disc off her defender's back for the goal. And East gets on the board early here. It wasn't pretty, but they got the hold they needed on offense, Danny.
Yeah, I think that when you're playing this style and the disc doesn't really move out of a particular place, and then you're able to get that block, you're like, we've made 5 throws in the end zone. One of them's going to work eventually. And I feel like with Dickey there, she just knew, I'm going to finish this point. I'm over this. Give me the biscuit in the end zone. And it worked.
So you can see the wind's picking up a little bit here, coming kind of from the far left of the field back towards us in the announcing booth, towards the camera. It's like a cross up downwind, I would say. And it's picking up a little bit more than it was in the first half. And I think that's contributing to why the play was so stapled in this downwind third, let's call it. And I think the team that's able to work it laterally up to the high side, Danny, is just going to have more success. Neither team really trying that hard to get the disc laterally out to that high side closer to where the crowd is watching this game. We'll see if Helios can do that on this point, but otherwise I do feel like we're going to see a lot of the action coming right down, right close to the camera as they move it down this downwind side. The only problem there is it's more predictable, easier to play defense against, and to be perfectly honest, the throws coming down the wind and upwind on this side, not that easy, right? They're more susceptible to the wind. See if there's a team that can keep it in the high side. Great pull there. Ripped all the way down. That's Tori Dickey with the pull. And offside called. Looks like it's an offensive offside. So we listen in here as our observer describes the offside.
So it's a benefit to the defense because instead of the offense kind of getting to make some passes to get going, the defense gets to set up on them.
Right. Looks like we have an injury sub simultaneously here. Interesting instance here, Danny, as there's an offside called and then simultaneously an injury sub for Wicked East on the pull. So a little bit of a delay here in the game, but it should be Helios is going to be on offense with the Wicked East defense with have an opportunity to set up.
If there is a second offside, I believe the offense now has to take it at the, I forget. Andrew Batchelor, if you're listening to this, slide into our DMs.
So D's going to have a chance to set up here. So I believe that was a false start on the offensive side, which allows the D to set up. Wicked East has a zone set up here. Trying to smother Grace McDonald with the disc. She's going to cut straight through and go to the far sideline. Again, working it up that upwind side. And Wicked East generates a turn out of their zone. Just as you predicted, Danny, this Wicked East team has just settled in a little more comfortability in this game as against what we saw earlier in the game.
That's Great. McDonald with another block.
Disc on the far side. Charlie Tannehill. That trademark bucket hat of hers. Tannehill looking into the upfield space. Tries to go upfield. Finds a little pocket there. Good spot. That's Alyssa Robinson now. Robinson goes to the far side. Talia Halperin goes upfield. A great grab there. Sliding was Kylie McDermott. McDermott right on the goal line now. Looking for a chance to work it in. Oh, McDonald shake and bake to the cone. Great move there. Finds that front spot. And again, a little interesting with that break to start the point, but at the end of the day, Helios 2 turns, but otherwise pretty clean working it up in that last time. And you notice it's the opposite. They were able to keep it on that high side for that entire point, Danny, and it just makes it that much more simple. If you have to retreat, you can go a little bit to the middle, but then they worked it up that upwind side. And Grace McDonald with the quick cut to the cone to finish it off.
I love that first throw through the zone that McDonald had, or it was earlier in the point, to keep it on that high side, as you're saying. It's so important to be able to play offense up there because all of the throws now become easier. And if the disc does pop up, it's at least popping up inbound, so your players have a chance to get to it. I do want to acknowledge Grace McDonald right now. From my count, she has 5 blocks so far this game. She's just an absolute monster.
And you saw her catch the goal there to boot. She does feel like an all-around player on this Helios team. You know, she's got size, skill. She is a graduating senior out of this junior club, so she will not be back in juniors. So I would not be surprised to see her pop up on a senior club team next year at CUC. She is going to TRU next year, and hopefully she can have an opportunity to play Ultimate there. But she's really making the most out of her final club season, junior club season here, as she's proving to be what I would say the most dominant player in this game.
We also have McDermott, though, putting up quite an impressive game to start. From what I can tell, 3 assists and a block to their name. There's always 2 sides. There's got to be the person throwing it too. So McDermott pulling out all the big stops to get these discs into the end zone to her teammates.
Huge pull by Maggie Sinclair. She drops it all the way to the brick mark. Wicked East now on offense. Catherine Bernard looking upfield and again blocked there. That's Maggie Sinclair who had the pull and then the immediate block. Looking upfield and hucks it on a rope. Is that going to have the pace? No, it's picked off there. Peyton Dickey with the interception. Good read there by Dickey as she closed the gap. Now she shoots it into the middle. Oh, contested grab there by Cheer, but just couldn't quite pull it in. Defended well. Helios with a chance to break. Maggie Sinclair springs one to the cone and ruled out of bounds there as Kylie Kopes had a chance to try to keep her feet in, but was just out of bounds, trying to get the read as the disc came over her head.
Sinclair definitely trying to finish the point with her throws. Not able to connect yet.
Evelyn Hickey goes crossfield. Great spot there. Dalio already looking upfield. This is Lizzie Farquhar in the middle of the disc, looking upfield. Tries to go to that open side, defended, smothering coverage. Oh, and then a lovely touch pass by Farquhar. Goes out and blocked away. Hannah Bond with the block. Just sort of picked that one off. Was close to the thrower. It's almost like somewhere between a hand block and an upfield block as she just jumped the lane and got the block there. Sinclair looking upfield and immediately hucks it again. This one's got a little more sit and it drops in the wind. Great bid there. Good effort there by Emma Forsyth, diving to try to make that grab, but just couldn't quite reel it in.
Getting a high 10 for the teammate for the effort. We love to see it.
Just like you said here, Maggie Sinclair has been just picking up and trying to rip a goal, but the cutters aren't there for it, right? These aren't just punts.
Yeah, in general, I think that they are good choices, just a little bit too spicy for maybe how hot it is or how tired a lot of these athletes might be at this point in the game.
Sinclair, another D, and immediately looks upfield. There's an under. Keeps her feet in. Kylie Kopes on field, looking upfield. Nice spot. Emma Forsyth looking upfield, and just again, it's this side of the field, Danny, is the wind is just enough to keep those discs from holding up. They're just dropping. They're not quite either starting them high enough or throwing them with quite enough pace for the timing.
I absolutely love the concentration and the footwork there by Kopes to keep her foot in bounds. That was not an easy play.
Mariev Yassin with the disc now, looking for the middle of the field. Oh, and just two players going for it, but neither of them are able to pull it down. A little sloppy here by Wicked through the middle of the field. Hannah Bond with the disc. Goes to the far side, Sinclair. Sinclair loads up her cannon, and certainly she does. Is this one going to have the sit? Not enough. Again, trying to get open there was Hallie Hildebrand, but it's just, again, as we come down the side, I sound like a broken record, but the wind is just always going to push it a little. It's going to sail. It's going to drop. And the throwers just haven't quite adjusted to the timing.
Yeah, they need to either throw it a little bit more at the receiver and a little bit less lead or a little bit more outside in.
Disc now completed in the hands of Peyton Dickey, who immediately rips a huck. What a spot that is, but a great effort. Mariev Yassin on the read just couldn't quite pull it in.
That was a great throw by Dickey. That was an incredible touch, incredible weight on that.
Oh, and Dickey makes good with a block and catches it to boot. Looks upfield, hangs this one up. It's going to sit. And again, it's a call, just too much size in the backfield. And immediately with the catch block, asking her offenders to get into gear, try to get open. It's a call looking upfield, drops to Sinclair, and a little jam cut. Sinclair wide out to Kopes. Nice movement here. Lots of space up the middle of the field. This one's going to float. Perfect shot there by Kopes. Hallie Hildebrand looking upfield. Connects with Forsyth. Forsyth staring up. She's got, looks like there's a call.
Timeout called.
Timeout called there. Forsyth.
You can hear Sinclair screaming from backfield, call a timeout.
And MS Forsyth responding. Emma Forsyth already with a goal in this game. I think she just knows that in that moment, responding to Sinclair, that the whole Helios team was kind of behind the play. No one was really providing an option. I think a timeout in this situation is warranted. They have been knocking on the door many times already at this point, but haven't been able to capitalize. So maybe calm things down here a little bit and work it in.
We talked about this in the last stream, but I actually tell my players not to call a timeout in this situation. But we have a specific offense designed to get ourselves out of it. And it just kind of depends on your team philosophy. I think it's a good call in juniors because a lot of the times you just need them to relax, especially on offense. They haven't worked so much on that ability to regulate from defense to offense to defense to offense on a long point. So I think it's a veteran call here, and we're going to see whether it pays off. I think that we were also talking about these throws, and in this last possession in particular, we're seeing Helios throwing a bit more at the target and a little bit less flat, so it's not getting carried away. So they're actually hitting their targets all the way along the field, and it makes a big difference.
Sometimes you just have to be a little bit more patient when you're working the disc downwind and knowing that like the disc is not going to sit out in front as much. And so you wait, and you may not gain as much yards, but you can at least snap it in and be confident that when your receiver turns the corner that they're open, that you can just smack them right in the chest and gives you the best chance for completion.
Call them tummy ticklers.
We call them tummy ticklers in the game. And let's see if Forsyth can put one of those into the end zone here. She picks it up. She's about 3 or 4 yards outside the goal. She has Maya Zakal set up in the bail position. And it looks like Maggie Sinclair at the top. Zakal going up line instead. Resets to Sinclair. Sinclair opts not to hit the swing, but instead, and it's a big time block there. Great play. It's like that was Dickey on the far side. Peyton Dickey just exploding for the block, coming out of the stack and making a good read. The cuts from Helios just weren't isolated enough, and there's a little bit too much traffic over there, and Dickey made them pay.
Dickey has been all over this field defensively. That's her third block so far at this point.
Upfield throw, and Zakal with a similar read coming out of the stack and making the poach block. Zakal staring upfield. A little break shot around, and that connects for the goal. Great throw there by Zakal. She's had her ups and downs already in this point with her throwing, but that one was a beautiful step out around, break shot to the goal, and Helios reestablishes that lead. They are up 10-3 over Wicked East. It's the game feels a little more balanced than the score shows. I think, you've seen East has been, stringing together some passes, connecting upfield, but they just have not been able to work it. Like even on this point alone, they had the disc on the goal line with a chance to flip it in, and then they didn't. And then, a few throws later, it's in the back of their goal. It's tough to bounce back from those. The game in itself feels a little more balanced, but certainly the better team right now is in the lead.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Fire
It'll
away.
take me a while to get the question out, but in a game like this, if you're coaching juniors and it's hot and there's many games to be had, at what point on either team do you start switching things up? And by that I mean resting certain people, giving other people opportunities that maybe haven't played as much in the game. At what point for both of these teams do you start thinking about that as a strategy, if ever?
I think it really depends on what you're trying to get out of this game. I mean, Wicked East doesn't have the biggest staff out here anyway. So I would say I wouldn't mess around too much with the line calling and anything like that. As we see Helios roll a pull out the side, it looks like it might have been offside anyway.
Definitely offside, so there was no hand. They were not ready to be receiving the pull yet.
And I think it is a good opportunity, Danny, to get some of your. I think if you're in Helios position and you have established a 7-goal lead, to get some of your players that don't quite get as much play time into this game and get them some game experience going into the later games. It just only will benefit them. That being said, we've been looking up and down the rosters here, and these. I mean, Helios hasn't been really burying anyone in the back end or anything like that. They've been playing. It's just that they sort of have that top 7, top 10 that touch the disc more often than not. But they've been rolling out their players, right? We've been at least saying 10, 12, 14 players' names in this game that have played a critical impact. So I think they're spreading their play time and they're doing it well. On the Wicked side, I mean, I think you have to send it for this game. This is the 2-3 matchup. And if you want to get into that top 8, they got to win this one. So I think, or winning this one will go a long way, I should say, because, in juniors, anything can happen. But I think you got to roll with your studs on this one, in this game. As we join this one, Janvo looking around to the side. Nice spot there. Another upfield throw, and Loretti just couldn't quite keep her feet in there and maintain possession with the disc. Janvo on the disc. Palmer with the disc, looking upfield. To the middle. Oh, and it drops in very nicely there. That's Lexi Veller. Lexi Veller looking up for field. And Jackson Palmer just couldn't quite close it, trying to come back down to this low side. Grace Janvo picks up. Looking upfield. Has a target. Blocked there. Lexi Veller again on the defensive effort. Jackson Palmer to pick up. Danny, it's another one of those points where everything's being played right here in
Row seat. They want to play right in front of us.
Veller looking at field. Has a target. Has Farquhar going deep. Oh, great effort there. Number 23 on defense. That's Adina Robinson getting in there and getting a block. Adrina Robinson, rather. She's one of the youngest players on this team. She's only done grade 8. So it speaks to that depth of this Helios team that there's like an age category, young players having a chance to make an impact. Annika Philpotts and Adrina Robertson are 2 of the grade 8s coming onto this team. And I mean, this could be one of 5 nationals that they come in the junior division, and they're going to have so much experience, by even grade 10 that look for them to be major contributors in the next couple of years. East working the disc up. That one hangs in a great effort there.
That ended up being an amazing throw. It just carried all the way into the end zone, just out of the reach of the hands of that player.
Helios trying to fire up field, and it's blocked away there by Vivian Harvey. She's had a big impact on this game, and now it looks like Harvey's going to cash in. She does it on both sides. Vivian Harvey, to my count, has at least 2 or 3 blocks. She's consistently working as the 4 blocks on your count, and she's consistently working in the offensive unit as well. She's been a real standout for this Wicked East team.
Yeah, that's 4 blocks, an assist, and a goal from what I can tell. So obviously one of the star players on this team alongside Dickey, who's just been a defensive monster and quarterbacking the backfield. So I think we are definitely seeing some stars emerging among us.
Tori Dickey and Peyton Dickey, the sisters, both team captains, really established themselves on this team. Tori's the older of the 2. And I mean, honestly, it's great when you can play this game with family. I'm someone who has a sibling who also plays, and there's that special feeling when you actually get a chance to lace them up, let alone at a tournament like Nationals with your sister, in this case, Peyton and Tori, playing together on this Wicked East team. Honestly, Danny, right now what we're seeing on this during this game, as we've sort of like seen the game script unfold, is Helios's size, speed, and defensive pressure has just frankly been too much for Wicked East. East has done well intermittently working the disc up. When their best points, when things are going well, they're moving the disc quickly, they're getting it to the high side, they're making good choices. When things aren't going well, they're just picking it up and ripping it into traffic, and they just don't have the deep presence to be able to contend with the likes of Grace McDonald, for example.
Kopez.
Yeah, Kopez, Maya Zakal. These are players, Maggie Sinclair, players that are just have the size and the speed and strength advantage.
Absolutely. We have another offside call. I haven't seen this in any of the games so far that I've been watching. This is the 3rd offside. So Helios getting to take the disc to they call it the brick or the reverse brick. Oh, never mind. It's coming in at about half. Right at the observer.
Grace McDonald to have the disc at about half field here off the offside. And Wicked East is applying a 3-3-1 zone here. It looks like 3 on the cup. And then looks like there's 3 sort of a mid, and then 2 wings on the sidelines with a deep presence there as well. Helios working it through. McDonald with the disc on the close sideline here. She's got this downwind sideline, a little bit of wind. She snaps it around and can't make a play on it, just hangs out of bounds. When OB just past the brick mark. And again, Denny is on this close sideline, contending with that wind that's just trying to push it out, trying to push it down and away. East looking upfield now, playing in a vertical stack. Now looking to the backfield. Tori Dickey now. Control, patience, poise in the backfield. Dickey goes around. Good spot there. Kazarski with the reception. Kazarski unloads a dot. Hangs and floats, and it's going to connect. Good read of the wind there to the far side. And just can't quite bring it in. That's Avery Medina. They go up big, but they just can't quite bring it down. And that's really been the story for Wicked East. They've been able to get to the doorstep, but they just haven't been able to open the door and cash in. McDonald goes upfield. Talia Halperin to the middle. Oh, and then just a kind of looked like a bit of a rushed huck look there in the downwind direction. Just wasn't bound to happen there. McDermott really pushed it. And now we have another huck look. This one looks like it's going to stay in bounds. Receiver in the area, goes up big and can't quite pull it down.
I think that is something that a lot of, newer players that have only been playing for a couple of years do, where they go right under the disc and they're not able to actually read the outside edge of it and take a bit of a wider approach to the.
And even just a little bit of wind can make that all the different as you try to collapse underneath the disc to get the read. As you see Helios fast breaking, but it looks like there's a call in the backfield.
Usually you think, why are we all so open? And then you're like, oh, there must be a call.
Talia Halperin is ready to just take off, go and go every other up that far side. But there is a call, and it's going to come back on a travel.
One thing that I've been really impressed about this game is the level of spirit between the two teams. So if a player on Wicked East makes a good play, for example, somebody on Helios is congratulating them, high-fiving them. They're being really friendly on the field, but they're competing at such a high level. This is kind of exactly what I love about Spirit and what I love about Ultimate is that you can still have this innate desire to win, but it's not at all costs. It's not at the cost of being a good person and respecting your opponent.
Yeah, and it's like at the core, we're all fans and lovers of the sport. So if you see like an awesome play, it's an awesome play no matter what. That doesn't always make you happy when the other team does a good play, but you can understand and respect it. Again, you don't have to high five someone, but sometimes it does feel like inside you're like, that's a nice play, and got to respect that, and got to appreciate it at the end of the day. That if anything, it just inspires you to be like, I'm gonna make the next one.
It's game, respect, game out here.
So the disc has reset all the way into the backfield. Helios facing now it's match defense as Wicked East has come out of their zone. Disc in the middle now. Talia Halperin finds her receiver, who's going to chip it up line, and again, just can't quite bring it in. Callie McDermott trying to make the reception there, just couldn't quite bring it in. And East picks it up on their own goal line, trying to go the full 70 here. Kozarski staring up into the teeth, snaps one around to the far side. It's blocked and finished there. That's number 39, Klasky Touring with the read on that one, and then just sort of watches the disc sail out of bounds. Grace McDonald picks up here, taps the disc in on the sideline. Charlie Tannehill in the backfield. Grace looks upfield. McDonald connecting there, Halperin, surveying, goes for the break shot up the middle, well received there. Annika Philpotts dumps it in just to the knees and couldn't quite bring it in. Halperin having a tough time connecting there with Philpotts, and Tori Dickey will pick up and immediately throw it upfield. Great reception there under pressure from Philpotts. No one really offering from this Wicked team. Now they had an option there, but unfortunately, Ember Fleming couldn't quite bring it in. It was just a bit stagnant there as the vertical stack spent so much time getting into their vertical set that no one was actually trying to get open and get the disc.
Yeah, it almost looked like people thought there was a call maybe, just for how few people were actually running. Another deep turnover. Players looking a little fatigued out here.
Yeah, it is hot. It's
hot.
Low to mid 30s and probably feels even 3 or 4 degrees hotter on this turf. I am noticing that the fatigue is definitely starting to set in, Danny, as these players are just sort of ripping for field position, and there's not a lot of targets actually upfield available. Looks like Wicked East is calling a timeout.
Which, not a bad idea. It's they need to be able to get water. It's been a long point. All of the players, I'm sure on both sides, appreciate it. We are kind of within 10 minutes of this game ending, I'd say. So it has been a long game. There's been many points, which have been many multiple turnovers. I have here on my stat sheet lots of blocks. Like when you have one player getting 3 blocks in a point, that point's probably been like 15 minutes.
And I know we talked about the wind at the early parts of the game here, Danny, that we said, it's it's windy, but not too windy.
Yes.
And I think out there on the field, the wind is playing a little bit more mayhem than we feel over here in the booth. It seems like, there's just been that extra edge of like a few miscues that don't feel like they would have happened in more calm conditions. Just a misread here or a low throw here that just seems to be not hanging because of the wind. So it's definitely not nothing, as we mentioned before. But when you see a clean point, you really remind yourself, it's definitely throwable. This isn't just like howling and causing disruption after disruption, but it's that extra edge where if you're not quite perfect with their throw choice, if you're not snapping it in right on the money, right, the wind can have can cause an effect on the disc. And it's just Helios has been better at managing it from start to finish, right? They've been sending it deep more regularly. They have bigger, faster receivers, and for the most part, they're connecting and they're playing. They've played a more complete game during this game.
You do notice that even a little bit of wind, if you're like a first year type player and maybe you are on the team because you're fast and you can play defense, all of a sudden, if you have the disc in your hands, that's when it's definitely exposing.
As we see Wicked East here pick up the disc. They currently trail 10-4. As they stare into a Helios zone. Disc now in the middle of the field in the hands of Dickey. Dickey comes to the close sideline. Julia Kozarski and Dickey play past. That was Maricel DeVries. And now it's Kozarski on the far side and hangs one into the middle. What a nice find that was. Chip shot forehand over the zone. Now it's Kozarski again. Oh, and a great break shot up there. That's Avery Medima. They're looking upfield. Quick little dump here to Dickey. Dickey has DeVries on the side. Snaps one around. DeVries looking upfield. On the low sideline, back to Dickey in the middle. Dickey fake swings. Now swings. Deceptive fakes there and making it happen. Kozarski, Dickey, and DeVries all playing this sort of lateral game. Let's see what Kozarski can do. She steps around, throws it to Dickey. Dickey, snappy forehand up the side. And now DeVries tries to attack, and that one will not quite stay in as Grace McDonald closed the gap there. That was Rachel Beck trying to track that one down.
I like that look. I know it's sometimes hard when you feel like you're swinging and you're not seeing a lot being developing downfield. You kind of get impatient, and then you end up punting it.
Grace McDonald with no real options. She's going to have to hang one up. It's going to sail over. Great effort there on the reception, but just not meant to be there. Philippot's trying to read that one in. Shot to the middle. Well completed there. Ember Fleming with the disc now. Fleming looked to the far side. Kozarski. Kozarski out wide. Medima. Medima with the disc. Now facing that zone. Instead, chips it over. Well received there in the middle. That's number 9, Mariella March, with 2 great grabs and finding these little pockets over the zone. Now the disc is in the middle in the hands of DeVries. DeVries looking, swings it out wide. Kozarski staring upfield now. This zone doing a good job containing the deep and containing the damaging throws, instead forcing them to swing it around a lot. DeVries now out to Dickey. Dickey sees Medima with the chance. Great spot there and just out of the hands of Avery Medima.
That was a nice shot. I saw that developing, and that's exactly what I would have done as well.
Upfield throw now. Helios looking to fast break and just slips out of the hands right there on the spot. That was Callie McDermott. Had an opportunity to huck it deep and just lost control of the disc on this downwind sideline.
I have been trying to wean myself off of wearing gloves because it's tough to wear them sometimes, but that's the exact reason why I wear them in the summer.
Just a little sweat develops and just makes it that much harder.
Sweaty, so I empathize.
Julia Kozarski, she hangs one up into traffic. Grace McDonald's gonna be the first one there and makes the block. That's the danger if you try to go over top of this Helios zone. You've got Grace McDonald lurking in the backfield, ready to make blocks happen. Grace McDonald staring upfield. Crossfield throw just dies in the wind, gets beat down, and Wicked East knocking on the doorstep here. Tori Dickey looks upfield. Doesn't like her first option. This looks like it's going to be zone all the way to the goal for Helios. Is they're keeping that zone. And Kozarski goes across field, and unfortunately for her, Grace McDonald is lurking once again, and she immediately turns to the huck. It's just not quite there. It's a little bit of a huck and zone situation here for Helios as they try to close this game out, Danny. Players on both sides absolutely feeling the burn as you see Kozarski on her hands, on her knees, hangs one up. Can McDonald make it 3 consecutive? Certainly she can. Now McDonald uses the high side. She goes off to the far side. That's Klasky Touring. Touring goes over the top, trying to hit Tannehill and just can't quite do it. Immediate pickup. Kozarski holsters the huck, wanted something. She saw her targets, but thought better of it as she saw Grace McDonald back there. And now we're getting
something happen for sure.
A call.
Now, it is tempting as players get tired to try, as we said earlier in the game, to try to finish things with their throws. I know I feel that way sometimes too. When you have somebody like Grace McDonald, who's literally in the backfield hunting for these deep discs, I think that you got to try to work the mids a bit more. If you can still take those out passes if you'd like, but maybe hitting somebody a little bit shorter on the sideline and have that deep pull and keep Grace a little bit more activated. I think Grace McDonald definitely knows that deep throw is coming. So she is respecting that deep popper, that deep cutter rather back there. So those mids need to work a little bit more in order to make themselves an available option.
Looks like they're just sorting out the call here, whether it was travel or a foul call. It's tough to tell from here, but it looks like it's still going to be Wicked East's disc in the hands of Julia Kozarski.
Kind of nearing the end of the game as well. You can kind of see that by looking at the players, as we saw on this earlier mark. Hands are on our knees, like we're feeling gassed for sure. But a couple more minutes left for these players, and then they can go grab some shade, refuel, and get ready for their other games.
DeVries with the disc now, looking into the backfield. Nice spot there. Kozarski out to Dickey. Dickey loads up and again, just trying to find a target down this sideline. She's been able to fire shots down the line, but haven't really had the available targets. Oh, great spot there. McDonald goes over the top and finds McDermott. McDermott now to Tannehill. Tannehill, one hand on the disc, looking upfield. Has a target upfield. Philippots now. Oh, some good flow here coming from Helios, and they're going to go around and just can't quite connect with it. As you saw that they finally kind of got over top of the zone and were able to work some good flow offense. And I think when you get close down to the goal, just gotta have that patience and hit the perfect shot every time.
Throwing that disc up kind of into the wind there, you need a little bit more inside out edge in order for it to not get bladed by that. They get another opportunity here.
Helios looking upfield, again, staring down this open side, not really looking to get it to the middle. Good defense there by East, holding a steady mark. Kozarski to the backfield. Dickey will air it out. Looks like it's McDonald there, and she's there again. Just too much of a presence in the deep set. But a first pass turn after the turn. That's McDermott who couldn't quite reel it in. Looks like there is an injury call here. This could just be a bit of a heat exhaustion situation here, Danny.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like the Helios player had, a specific injury or an ankle twist or anything like that, but just is absolutely gassed, and it could just be the heat catching up with her.
Especially if you start feeling lightheaded or dizzy, it can be a little scary out here. Now, you may have just heard the horn come through, so we are now in the cap. So after this point is over, we add 1 to the top score.
Alexa Bryn Shear subs in for Wicked East, and it is number 44, Talia Halperin, that's going to sub in for Helios. East with the disc, having a chance to close things out here. Get on another nice spot there. Number 9, Mariella March, having herself a point. She's just finding those little pockets in the zone. Oh, nice little dish there to Cheer to Kozarski. Kozarski looking upfield, goes over the top and blocked there nicely. That's Callie McDermott. She's been all over the field on both sides of the disc on this point specifically. Maya's a call. Hits McDermott. McDermott is a call. It's a call staring upfield. It's a call upfield and can't connect with Tannehill. Kozarski quickly picks it up, and she's going to hang it up deep. Two oversized defenders, and McDonald pulls it out of the air again. By my count, that's her 5th defensive block on this point alone.
I was mistaken about the +1, so the horn did go during this point. So regardless of the outcome of this point, whether one team scores or another, it doesn't matter. This will be the final point of the game.
And then the wind is really picking up in this last 2-3 points, and you can see it by the quality of the play, right? It's kind of a combination. Conditions a little bit trickier, fatigue, the hot turf, both teams kind of understanding that the game is, for all intents and purposes, over, right? As this being the last point of the game, like you just said, it will be, Helios will be winning and advancing from this game. And right now it's about closing out this last point without, pushing yourself too hard on this hot turf here out in Newton Athletic Park.
Now we have a contested up-down call, I assume is what's happening here on that nice bid. It was pretty hard to tell from where we are. So it looks like they're going to the observers, and it's going to go back to the thrower.
Yeah, Maya Zakal, the disc floated over, and she made the readjustment and laid out and grabbed it. Whether it hit the turf before she got it, that's the argument right now. That's the discussion, and it looks like it is going to go back to the thrower. Great effort, nonetheless, to keep that disc alive.
All players on the field getting a little bit of a rest right now, which I'm sure they're appreciating. And we don't want this point to go on for a super long time. Every single minute more that these athletes are out here grinding is another more fatigue that's adding to their bank.
It's a call. Working the disc upfield now for Helios, going every other. Maya's a call with the disc, looking upfield. Directing her troops there. Oh, and Tannehill just looked away from the disc at the last second there, trying to make that grab. Thought she already had it, and she was already thinking about the next throw. Now it's Tori Dickey quickly to pick up, asking for some disc space. Goes into the backfield, DeVries. DeVries goes around to Kozarski. Kozarski's been the staple of this offense, and now she hangs one up, and it's just a little low for cheer. Again, a pretty good look by Kozarski, but just a little bit affected by the wind, and receiver just not quite able to make the play. Grace McDonald looks to the middle, sees the call. The call goes upfield to McDonald. McDonald sees a target deep. It's Tannehill. Oh, and a nice spot there by McDonald, but Tannehill just couldn't bring it in. Good pressure by Kozarski on defense.
Again, I like that throw. They took an extra second before they threw it. Was not being able to be reeled in, but I think that was a good choice.
You can see Tori Dickey asking her teammates to provide an option up there, and now it's a spot right. Great grab by Cheer. Good spot over the top. That's by Kozarski. Cheer now swings it out to the far sideline. And again, you can tell the fatigue and the heat is catching up these athletes here in this last point of this game. Grace McDonald picks up. Helios going to try to work this up and close it in. And right now it's error after error, Danny, and that's what's happening on this field. It's just the conditions are not conducive to clean, good ultimate here as we close, as the game starts to wind down. It's just that there's two different things happening. One, conditions are pretty tricky. It's very hot. They're tired. Two, mentally, both these teams feel over this game. The outcome is moot at this point. Yeah. Helios has won this ultimate game, and both teams are just, with that, there's that like a little bit less focus, a little bit less desire to complete every pass, a little bit less, communicative and trying to generate those upfield throws. At the end of the day, one of these teams has to bang in this final point. And the team that, sets themselves and is able to make 3, 4, 5 focused decisions in a row, that's the team that's going to score this point.
Yeah, and I know we'd say like they know that the game is over, so it's hard to kind of keep like putting your body on the line. But the defense does seem to still be grinding and working. You could have a team just kind of roll over and be like, okay, score, whatever. It doesn't matter anyways. But both of these teams are still defensively wanting to get the disc back to be the one to punch it in. And I think as we've said all game long, we're just trying to win the game with our throws right now. And if we can just win it a little bit more with our legs, just give it another couple minutes of focused decisions with good long cuts into space, then the game will be over.
Yeah, what I feel like we're seeing here is maybe more of a mental breakdown here at the very end of the game and a little less physical. And on defense, there's like sometimes you can just put your head down, try to play good D physically. And we're seeing a lot of that on both sides.
Yeah.
It's the mental aspect, when you get the disc in your hands and it's hot and you don't see a lot of great options. How do you respond as a thrower? How do you push extra hard on O as a cutter? Tori Dickey airs it out. Grace McDonald in the neighborhood again and just being absolute patrol of the deep space.
I have actually run out of space in the cell for her for this point to put any more blocks. So
see there, Maggie Sinclair trying to connect deep. That's Kylie Kopes striking deep. And Sinclair and Kopes have hooked up a few times this game with a throw and catch combo, but not meant to be in that one as the wind kind of drifted that one out of bounds. Tori Dickey picks up. She immediately looks into the deep space, now looks into the backfield, engaged against this zone. Oh, goes over the top and point blocked by Maya Zakal. Could this be the final point here, Danny, as Maggie Sinclair walks up to the disc and stares into this Helios vertical offense?
A relatively fresh Sinclair who came on from an injury.
And there it is. Grace McDonald to Kopes on the far side, and she flips in the winner. A well-earned point there by McDonald and Co. as Helios closes this one out 11-4. Danny, give us the viewers the sort of 30-second summary of that game in a nutshell as we see Helios close this one out against the 3 seed in the pool, Wicked East.
Okay, so we have one team go up 7-0, and we finish, 11-4. So if you actually eliminate those first 7 points, we have ourselves like a tie.
Yeah, I mean, Wicked East absolutely got more comfortable as the game went on, fell into a bit more of a rhythm. But at the end of the day, going down huge is just a recipe for disaster. And there's just not enough time, and especially against a good side, to make that all up.
Yeah, so good on Wicked East for fighting all the way to the end. It was impressive. It's hard to do. It's hard to do going down by 7-0 and try to pull yourself back into it. I think they should be really proud of their efforts. And for this Helios team, they obviously have some things that they need to work on, but there's a lot of really promising stuff. And I'm excited to see them make it far through this tournament.
Yeah, and before we sign off, I want to identify a few top performances from both teams. Frankly, with a 7-goal win, it's easy to identify a lot of players on Helios as playing very solid games today. Jackson Palmer stood out. Grace McDonald, of course, had blocks, goals, assists. Kylie Kopes turning in the lanes. And I thought Maggie Sinclair also played a heck of a game. She was like a commanding force, always getting the disc, looking upfield. And on the Wicked East side, Julia Kozarski really stood out to me. This is someone who was looked like basically the main pivot center handler. She was constantly getting the disc, distributing out wide. She was maybe the only player on this Wicked East team that could effectively get over that zone and make little over the top throws or cutting breaks. So I thought Julia Kozarski played fabulous for Wicked East. And Evelyn Hickey and both Dickey sisters also providing that depth and ability. I'm excited to see what this team can do. But right now, all kudos goes to this Helios roster from Merritt and Kamloops as they close out a big-time victory in Pool C. Danny, any closing thoughts?
I do not envy these players, although we're going to be here in a couple days doing the exact same thing.
So we will.
My closing thoughts are, if you're listening to this because you're at home, I think you have no idea what these athletes are up to. It is extremely hot. They're doing so well. If you're a parent of one of them watching it, you should be very proud and make sure to remind them to drink water and eat food. It is important to take care of yourselves out here. You too, Kev.
Yeah, you too, Danny. And that's all for us in the booth. Danny Proby and myself, Kevin Underhill. And we are going to be right back on the mic with a big matchup in the Junior Open division between Prime Ultimate Club's Dino and T10 out of Quebec. Stay tuned for that. And thank you for watching the 2023 Canadian Ultimate Championships.